Oh, welcome. Welcome to Things You Don't Know. Today, we're delving into the origins of Santa Claus, a figure who's beloved worldwide, but has many, many different faces and traditions depending on where you are. Now, we did briefly mention Santa Claus in the podcast entitled Holidays, done in 2022. This one will focus more specifically and solely on Santa Claus. Interesting, huh? Listen, Santa Claus's story is as diverse as the cultures that celebrate him, from a kind of gift bringer to a fearsome disciplinarian. So grab some hot cocoa or a lime coke if you're Dr. Dineen, and let's slay into the history and global interpretations of one Santa Claus.
Well, if we're going to have cocoa, I hope that mine's got some marshmallows in it.
Oh, I'll see to it.
Thank you, Dr. Weaver. I appreciate that. The origins of Santa Claus trace back centuries and are rooted in a mix of historical figures, folklore, and religious traditions. In the pre-Christian era, there are several figures which seem to have been incorporated into the Santa Claus mythos. In Norse mythology, the all-father god Odin was said to ride on an eight-legged horse named Sleipnir, delivering gifts during the Yule season. Later, figures like Father Christmas in England and Pierre Noel in France brought regional variations to the Santa story, emphasizing gift-giving and wintertime merriment. Santa Claus's earliest roots lie in Saint Nicholas of Myra, a 4th century Greek bishop in what is now Turkey, known as the patron saint of children, sailors, and the poor. Saint Nicholas was famed for his acts of kindness and generosity. The most famous legend about him involves him secretly providing dowries through bags of gold for 3 impoverished sisters, saving them from being sold into slavery. St. Nicholas Day, celebrated on December 6th, became a key holiday in many European countries, particularly in the Netherlands. Just take a look at the Santa traditions in many different cultures, starting with the Dutch. It is very interesting that the Dutch settlers brought the tradition of Sinterklaas to America. Sinterklaas is a bearded, bishop-like figure who rides a white horse and delivers gifts to children. In Dutch folklore, Sinterklaas is accompanied by a helper named Zwarte Piet, Black Pete, a helper who assists with gift delivery and ensures children are really worthy. While this character is part of Dutch tradition, it has become controversial in modern times. Dutch immigrants, as we said, introduced Santa Claus to America in the 18th century. Over time, the name evolved into Santa Claus. As we've said, in the Netherlands, Santa Claus is accompanied by Zwarte Piet, Black Pete, although this tradition has faced great controversy and scrutiny in recent years. In Iceland, children are visited by the mischievous Yule lads, 13 trolls who leave gifts or rotten potatoes depending on the child's behavior. And in Finland, Santa is known as Julia Pukki, which translates to the Christmas goat. It's a nod to older pagan traditions before Santa evolved into his modern form.
Yeah, in Switzerland, Santa isn't always the jolly figure that we know in the USA, called Simiclaus. He visits children on December 6th with a companion named Schmutzli. Schmutzli's role, unlike Santa's usual helpers, is kind of a scary one. He's tasked with disciplining naughty kids, and legend has it he might even carry particularly bad children away in his sack. Schmutzlas doesn't just leave gifts. He listens to children recite poems and decides whether they've been good or bad. Now, when I was in Switzerland, I had the honor of visiting with a gentleman who was, at the time I met him, he was actually a teacher, English teacher, as a matter of fact, in Switzerland. And he told me the story. I forget how it came up, but he told me the story of how when he was a child, he was disciplined for, oh, he had done a couple of things, not anything terribly wrong, but he was put in the sack and carried away to a farmhouse that he didn't know where he was, and kind of put through the ringer and had to promise that he would be a good boy and da 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 da. It was kind of funny, but hey, it impacted him. He squared himself up and behaved from that time on, at least according to him. And I'm sure he did. He was a good guy. Anyhow, in Germany and Austria, um, Santa has a fearsome counterpart called Grampus. Who is Grampus? Well, he's a horned, demonic figure roaming the streets during December, punishing naughty children by whipping them with birch sticks or threatening to drag them to his lair, much like what happens in Switzerland. On December 5th, Grampus parades or Grampuslauf are held, where people dress as Grampus and scare onlookers. It's both terrifying and fascinating.
In Italy, Santa shares the stage with a magical figure named La Befana, kind-hearted good witch who delivers gifts on January 6th, Epiphany Day. That's the day the wise men from the East visit the baby Jesus. According to legend, Befana missed her chance to visit the baby Jesus with the wise men, so now she flies on her broom, delivering gifts to children in his honor. In Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, the Christmas figure isn't Santa, but a mischievous gnome called the Julnisse. Julnisse delivers presents, but expects children to leave him porridge with butter. I guess it's healthier than milk and cookies, or risk some playful pranks. Santa Claus has been adopted in Japan as part of the country's love for Christmas celebrations. Known as Santa San, he's more of a secular gift bringer. Christmas is celebrated as a romantic and commercial holiday rather than a religious one, with couples dining on Kentucky Fried Chicken and exchanging gifts. See our holiday podcast to learn more about that.
Yeah, and just to kind of recap some of that, in Japan, Christmas is not a public holiday, as most people observe Shinto or Buddhism. Businesses and schools remain open on December 25th, and life continues sort of as usual. Christmas Eve is often considered a time for couples, similar to Valentine's Day. Romantic dinners, gift exchanges, and walks under illuminated decorations are very popular activities for couples. Major cities like Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto are adorned with dazzling illuminations, Christmas trees, and festive displays. Shopping malls and streets light up with decorations starting as early as November. Decorative trends often include creative and non-traditional themes showcasing Japanese artistry and innovation. Now, Dr. Dineen mentioned KFC. This is the strangest thing. It's just very iconically Japanese. The Christmas tradition in Japan is eating Kentucky Fried Chicken. Um, this custom began in the 70s with a successful marketing campaign, and now ordering a Christmas bucket from KFC has become a nationwide phenomenon. Another popular tradition is the consumption of a Christmas cake, typically a sponge cake topped with strawberries and whipped cream. It symbolizes celebration and prosperity. Now, this is such a big deal that people order their Christmas KFC chicken months, months in advance because they tend to run out. They sell out like bam, gone. Okay, well, another thing, while not as widespread as it is in Western cultures, gift giving is common among couples, close friends, and coworkers. However, it is less elaborate than in Western cultures, and New Year's is traditionally more important for exchanging gifts and tokens of goodwill. Uh, Japanese malls, stores, and media are filled with Christmas songs and themed shows. Both Western classics and Japanese renditions are popular during the season. You know, Santa Claus is a familiar figure in Japan, and children sometimes receive small gifts from Santa. However, the focus on Christmas for children is not as pronounced as it is in Western countries. You know, Japanese Christmas blends imported traditions with local sensibilities. For example, Christmas cakes are often purchased from local bakeries and reflect Japan's love of exquisite and artistic desserts. The holiday is celebrated by people of all ages and backgrounds without strong religious connotations, making it just a universally cheerful event.
As Dr. Weaver said, unlike the family centered celebrations in many Western countries, Japanese Christmas is primarily commercial or romantic. Since Christianity is not widespread, there are no traditional services or nativity scenes. Instead, the holiday emphasizes lights, decorations, and shared joy. And of course, we cannot forget the Coca-Cola inspired Santa we all know and love, the big guy in a red suit flying in a sleigh pulled by reindeer. In the United States, Santa delivers gifts on Christmas Eve, entering homes through the chimney and enjoying milk and cookies left out by children. There have been several literary influences on our Santa image, for example. In 1823, the poem A Visit from St. Nicholas, better known as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" by minister Clement Clark Moore, cemented many aspects of Santa's character, such as his jolly demeanor, reindeer-powered sleigh, and entry through the chimney. Another literary influence is Washington Irving's writings. These took place in the early 19th century, and they also played a role in shaping the legend of Santa Claus in America. The modern image of Santa Claus as a rotund, jolly man with a red suit and white beard was popularized by famous political cartoonist and illustrator Thomas Nast in the late 1800s through his work in Harper's Weekly. Nast is the one who also introduced the idea of Santa living at the North Pole.
You know, Christmas has been widely commercialized everywhere, but in the United States, especially in many ways. Perhaps starting with Coca-Cola's role in the 30s, where they did advertisements featuring Santa Claus in the now iconic red suit, ho ho ho, reinforcing his modern image and associating him with the festive cheer of Christmas and giving gifts. Okay, Santa's image as a universal figure of Christmas joy spread worldwide, blending with local customs and traditions. The modern Santa Claus Well, he's a blend of saintly generosity, cultural mythology, uh, kind of influenced by Norse legends and European folklore, of course, and American creativity shaped by literature, art, and commercialization. You know, we haven't talked about some of the Christmas traditions in the United States, but interestingly enough, it varies by region, it varies by family traditions, and many instances by your religious background. We haven't, you'll note, we haven't mentioned the coal in the stocking. We haven't even mentioned hanging the stockings by the chimney with care. But all of those things happen, and there's a bunch of them, and we could go, another half an hour if we wanted to talk about all the Christmas traditions just in the United States, and we're not going to do that. We just wanted to share a little holiday spirit and joy with people. So, what makes Santa Claus so enduring? Is it just gifts? Probably not. Santa embodies values that transcend culture: generosity, kindness, and the idea of rewarding good behavior. It's sort of the opposite of Ayn Rand, isn't it, Dr. Dineen?
Indeed.
You know, he also reflects each culture's unique traditions, whether it's Schmutzli in Switzerland, Krampus in Austria, or La Befana in Italy. Santa's story adapts to fit local customs and histories. He's more. Santa Claus is more than just a jolly man in a red suit. He's a symbol of the season's joy, mystery, and sometimes its discipline. From carrying naughty kids away in a sack to delivering presents with a reindeer powered sleigh. Santa's many forms remind us of the diverse ways people celebrate the holidays. Thank you all for listening in. I hope that this season brings you happiness and joy, and that the coming year will be one of bounty and joy for you. So for now, goodbye.
I share Dr. Weaver's sentiments. A very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays for those who celebrate other festivals, and may you all be blessed and happy. This has been a really wonderful experience doing these podcasts. It's helped me in so many ways, and I wish to thank you all, Dr. Weaver, for being so patient and involved in this, my dear friends who recorded things with me in the past, and our listeners here who have really gone out of their way to comment and respond and share our joy in this myriad of topics. I must tell you very briefly one unique tradition that has happened lately with the end of communism in Russia. The Orthodox Church has revived its traditions, and there's a character known as Grandfather Frost, a Santa Claus type figure. Well, it seems that his mission, thanks to President Putin, has been to encourage the people of the Ukraine to return, whether they wish to or not, the embrace of the motherland. So, I mean, I suppose even a sacred tradition like this can be politicized and commercialized in many ways. It's important to look at, we analyze something, how it can be viewed on many different levels. That's good for anything, but particularly for our traditions. Where did they come from, and what, in a positive sense, do they bring to our lives? Well, that's just me playing historian here for a minute, folks. A very blessed holiday to you all. Thank you very much.